Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Ricado of Ricado Law. What the hell is happening on the video? Does the video look normal to you guys? I think it's just YouTube on my end being stupid. Okay. So I get this little preview window in my YouTube studio, all right? And on mine, all I can see is like, it's not going to make sense to you. Okay, all I can see is the top, like, 1/15th corner of it. So I can just see my forehead, basically. Get in your tank top now. Yeah. Why am I dressed so nicely? I'm just wearing a button-up shirt as opposed to a t-shirt. That's all. That's it. Nothing special. Anyway, sorry for being weird with the video. I just don't understand why my video looks ridiculous, but it doesn't matter to me. As long as it takes your as long as you guys get the right video. That's all that matters. That's what it is. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, hey, so welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Ricado of Ricado Law, small law firm in central Minnesota. And this is a chilled out nerd and law stream. I'm trying this out over here. I was doing these kind of chilled out streams on the media channel, but I wanted to do try it out over here on the main channel. And we'll incorporate, legal conversations as well. Oh my gosh. We'll have everything. We'll have whatever you want. You guys are in charge of what we talk about today. I will say it now, and I'll try and remember to say it a little bit later. But forehead doubles as a theater screen. These streams are different than normal. The normal super chat rules are not in place, and I try to do chat interactivity aside from super chats as well. I read things that come in. That's kind of the goal, and we can explore all different subjects. Okay. I don't have a fully planned out show for you tonight, and so I'm here to hang out and chat for a little bit. It may be a short show, it may not, and then we'll go over to Twitch and watch some movies. That's it. That's how it goes. That's what we're doing, and it should be a fun time. So, that being said, there are things to talk about. I do apologize for being late. I don't know what happened. I came into my office and my computer was rebooted, which is fun. But that's what took me so long to get everything started. Can we kick it off with that hypocrite AOC? Yes, we can talk about AOC. AOC, she was really in danger when Alderaan was destroyed. She was on Tatooine, but never mind. That's how it goes. She's fine. Oh God. She if you didn't see it today, it was uncovered. It was uncovered today, or put together, I don't know, something. That AOC was not in the Capitol building when, quote unquote, her life was threatened by the rioting mobs. She wasn't there. She wasn't there at all. So that's why you will see Alexandra Ocasio-Smollett trending on Twitter. It's because she wasn't in there. So all this grandstanding, calling out Ted Cruz as like a murderer and all of this stuff, and she wasn't there. She's trying to get like David Hogg, right? That's the idea. Oh, it's like you weren't even there. You weren't there. No, she was, however, in her office, which is like a block and a half away, something like that. But anyway, it's a fun time. It's a fun thing. She's a disaster. Yeah, she astral projects. But that was some good news today. It's good news, right? She wasn't actually in danger of dying, and that is good news. Goodness, what is happening? So I'm very glad about that. I see Uncivil Law. Uncivil Law sent a chat. He said, "Thanks for chilling with me on my channel. Always fun, my man. And congrats again for all your success. Looking sharp in that shirt. Hey, thanks. You got me broken, Uncivil. You have broken me. Because we got, I was on Uncivil's show last week. I think it was. My days are all mixed up. I think it was last week. And this jackass looked so good on his camera that now I'm like looking for a camera. I'm like, my webcam, it's not good enough. I can't do this anymore. My webcam's a lie. Look at how good Uncivil looked. Why don't I have that nice blurry background? Why don't I have that nice crisp look on my lens? Nope. Here I am with my flat webcam image from my like 2mm sensor on the webcam and a tiny lens, not like a big Chad lens with a huge sensor. No, I've got a little tiny sensor and I consequently look small. Ridiculous. Horrifying. I'm changing it now. So, Uncivil, you may not have known this. I complained about this a little bit yesterday, I think. So I went to go procure a camera and a lens, right? And I don't really want to order one online. I want to make sure I talk to someone about it who knows something, even though, whatever. But I wanted to, get some advice, make sure with my like room conditions and lighting conditions and what I want to do, I'm getting the right thing. So I go and I drive to the camera shop. This store, like there isn't a camera store in my town. You can go to Walmart or Target. They have those cameras. So you can get like a Canon EOS Rebel or whatever. You can get those things. But you can't get like a good camera, like a really nice camera. I mean, and they don't have any lens selection at all. So I'm like, I'm going to go to the camera shop. That sounds great. It's like it's a little under an hour from my house. It's in St. Cloud and they have stores there. So I'll go there. And so I drive. I drive to the camera shop. Spend an hour in my car by myself driving to the camera shop to get there before they close at 6. And I get to the camera shop and they don't sell cameras. They don't sell cameras at the camera shop. They don't sell lenses. They don't sell cameras. And so I asked him, I'm like, why do you exist? What is your purpose in life? You are the worst named store I've ever been to. They don't sell they sell products to cameras. Yes, that's probably true. They develop film. Be the film shop, the photo store, the anything other than the camera shop. They do. It's like a photo development place, like a Fox Photo or something. Which everybody does this at Walmart and Target now anyway, but not here. The camera shop is dedicated to being a dying business. I honestly don't understand what the purpose of this place is. But they don't sell cameras. I'm like, what the hell is this? Guy says, well, we used to sell cameras. We used to sell some cameras. I'm like, no. One doesn't name their store the camera shop and have at one point sold some cameras. Like if you open the car shop and you sell pictures of roads, that's wrong. Like, if you open the car shop, you should sell cars. If you open the camera shop, you should sell cameras. Not occasionally at one point have sold a few cameras. Oh, I was furious. I still am mad. About this. So, as it turns out, there are no, as far as I can tell, there are no stores that sell cameras within an hour of my house. I think I have to go 2 hours away to do this. So I might be stuck ordering one online anyway. And I mean, there's a Best Buy, but Best Buy is degenerate. So that's a non-starter. They also don't have good cameras, but why didn't I check their website? Oh, I don't know. You know, I guess in hindsight, it would have been a good idea, but that's like going to the folder store and you get there and all they sell is staplers. It doesn't make sense to me. If I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm looking for a folder. I know. Hey, Google, find folder stores near me. And it has the folder shop. I figure when I do that, it's going to bring me to a place that sells folders. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't do that at all. It's okay. I made the most out of the trip. I got a Five Guys burger. And I got a regular size fries for myself. That was delicious. The Roz Rodriguez, what's wrong with Best Buy? Well, that's a personal story. But the long and short is I bought a TV. They told me they would deliver it. And then they didn't. And then they didn't again. And when I asked them why, it's because the surge protector was back ordered, so they wouldn't deliver the TV. And I hate them eternally for that. That's the short story of that. They're also awful. There's not a fries in this state, Arctic Pride. There used to be. They don't exist anymore. Anyway. So, had Five Guys inside his body. I've got a story about that. Not in the way you think. But I do have a story about gayness that I'll share with you in just a minute. Now, to be perfectly clear, if you are gay, or if you know a gay, I am not in any way, like, that doesn't bother me. I don't care. It's great. I support all lifestyles. Doesn't affect me. That being said, when I was in Knoxville the first time for the Dick Show, not the Dick Show, for the fight in Knoxville between Andy Worski and Tonka Saw, the fight that never was. Okay. No, I'm mixing this story up. I was not in Knoxville. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. And this was for the Dick Show. This is for the Dick Show Road Rage in Atlanta. And Lady Rackets and I were taken to breakfast by a wonderful person named Lydia. Lydia's great. She's the one who made the statue of me. He's up there. It's kind of annoying to get to, but the Rekieta Law statue was made by Lydia. And she took us to lunch or to brunch at this place. It's called the Blue Something. It was very, very good. Very, very good. Now, because the Blue Something was very good brunch place, it was also very, very busy. And so we got there and we're sitting outside in the pounding Georgia sun. It's hot. It is Hotlanta. And we're sitting there just dying outside waiting for our seat, our table. And Lady Rackets sits down next to this very burly fellow with nice tattoos. He's got lots of tattoos. He's an older gentleman. maybe in his late 40s to early 50s. And so she strikes up a conversation. They're talking about tattoos, and turns out he's a tattoo artist. Okay? The Blue Oyster. It might be the Blue Oyster. Blue Robin? Blue Robin? Atlanta brunch. Blue. Not Blue Oyster. No, not Blue Oyster. Ria's Bluebird. It's Ria's Bluebird. That's it. That place is fantastic. It's right by, it's right across the street from the, this giant Civil War graveyard. Right across from this giant Civil War graveyard, and they have like a Confederate side, and they have a Jewish quarter, where Jews only are buried. I don't know. Does anybody know about this? Like why they would have specific grave sites that are only for Jews? Is it like a kosher thing? Is there a burial ritual of some sort? I literally don't know, but they had a specific Jew section at this thing. Have I Googled the blue waffle? You can't do that to me, Teleco. I've been on the internet way too long. Check the Talmud. Why does Jim want on? So anyway, they don't want to be buried with us subhumans. No. Okay. The stream is not dead, just in case you guys got a little hiccup there. So anyway, so we're sitting outside Ria's, what's it called? Ria's Bluebird. I got brisket and grits, I think it was. Oh my God, it was good. So we're sitting outside Ria's Bluebird, and Lady Raggeds is talking to this individual, and he's a large tattoo artist, and so she's chatting up about tattoos, and he also was there for brunch with his man friend, because he is right, he's gay. And so we got to meet them. They're very nice. And so he's like, oh, by the way, if you want to see my work, I have an Instagram. Well, Lady Raggeds doesn't have an Instagram. So she says, hey, you need to follow this guy on Instagram. That way, you know, if we're ever in a place, maybe he'll do a tattoo or something. So it's like, okay. So I follow him on Instagram. Ever since then, okay? I don't know if you guys know how Instagram works. I don't go on it very often, but over the past couple days, I've had some cause to be on Instagram. And the cause to be on Instagram was a weirdo named Ray Gordon. And we're going to talk about Ray I'm going to look up his lawsuit live in a little bit. But that's something I'll get to later if we have some time. Just because I'm curious about it. But anyway, Ray's the last 3 episodes, and I don't want to dwell on Ray, but because of Ray, I was on Instagram a lot, so then I was scrolling through my Instagram feed. Well, they changed how the Instagram feed works. Instagram had this cool thing where when you scrolled through it and you got to the last thing you saw, it would tell you. It's like, oh, you're all caught up. Oh, thank God. I don't have to go, oh, did I see this or not? Until you see that thing, you know you haven't seen anything there. So it's this nice feature. I really, really like this feature on Instagram. It's actually cool. And it used to just tell you, all right, here's everything you've seen. And then you could keep scrolling through your timeline. Well, now Instagram does a different thing. So when you get to that spot where you're all caught up, it now switches you over to a recommended post thing. So it doesn't, like, you can go back to your timeline and go back to the old stuff, but it defaults to switching you to recommended posts algorithmically based on who you follow and what you like, right? Well, I happen to follow a big gay bear. So now, as I'm scrolling through my Instagram, I get Warhammer memes, I get minis, and then occasionally a big hairy gay man. Just Just, just damn it. Oh my God. It's always, and it's just like a big, bald, hairy guy. Every time. So I'm never going to forgive Lady Rackets or her big gay tattoo friend. He's the nicest guy. Like, he was seriously super nice. He and his husband or whatever. They seemed great. But my Instagram is ruined. Because first I have to feel bad. Because, like, the minis, the Warhammer minis, are exquisitely painted. And I'm like, oh my God, I'll never be anywhere near as good at painting a Warhammer mini as this. Right? And so I'm already depressed. I'm like, oh, well, my Michael J. Fox paint job doesn't look quite as good as this. It never will. Thanks. Thanks, world, for reminding me I'm inadequate. And then all of a sudden, big gay bear. I'm like, I'll never be this hairy. I will never, ever be this hairy or wide. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my life. So that's my Instagram story. That whole story was sparked by Five Guys. So scrolling down only to hit a wall of meat and hair. Yeah, I'll have to talk to Star Wars Girl about painting Warhammer minis. I still have my plan. I hatched this plan. Well, I didn't hatch it. Someone recommended it on the last nerd stream I was doing when I was talking about different artists. I'm going to try and get some artists that I know to paint minis and see what they can do. Like people who don't know anything about Warhammer and see if they'll do it. I think that'd be awesome. So anyway, let me start going through some of these chats. And like I said earlier, but in case you're new here, this is a really relaxed show and the normal chat rules don't apply. The goal of these chilled out shows is not to like rake in chats or anything like that. It's literally I come to hang out and talk with the chat. So I try to answer the ones in the chat. Of course, I'm going to read all the super chats that do come in, but it's not like the normal thing. So I'm going to read them kind of in order and I try to get to them faster. So, Synac8 says, I have to send this before AOC deletes her Twitter. She's accusing Trump supporters of planting bombs around the Capitol building. Yeah, that's, AOC has been like the harbinger of fake news about the Capitol riots. Do I have tattoos? Yes. Yes, I have, well, it's like either 1 or 4, depending on how you look at it, but I do, but no, you can't see them. And I got it long before I met the gay guy. Yeah, she has been a harbinger of fake news about the Capitol stuff, which is great. She's been proliferating the capture and kill squads that were tramp stamp. No way. Who would get a tattoo on their lower back? Do you know how much that would hurt? Spine tattoos are painful. But she's been proliferating the idea that there were capture and kill teams based on an initial erroneous report by the Department of Justice, one that they have since corrected, but she has not. She's also been talking about the bombs that were planted around, which turns out the bombs were actually suspicious packages that were then cleared as not bombs. They were just suspicious packages. So she has been queen tits on the false information about the Capitol stuff. I mean, the Capitol stuff was still dumb. Like, make no mistake. Going in the Capitol, I don't care if they let you in. There's a big barricade. It's just not something I would do or advise. And it ended up causing a lot of shit, right? And the Democrats have run roughshod over the Republicans based on the Capitol thing. So in hindsight, 2020, it was a bad move. Bad play. People got suckered into it, and it's really unfortunate. And now those people are being prosecuted. And maybe in many cases they shouldn't be, but here we are. So that being said, though, whatever it wasn't a big deal. It was made into a big deal. Are your have the rock? My tattoo didn't hurt. Well, it did a little bit. It did a little bit at one spot, on my urethra, but elsewhere it didn't hurt at all. The Frozen Gamer says, "Is it bad that every time I see the word consult, my brain autocorrects to conslut?" Now read the question in JSL's voice. The Cody Duffin says, "Did you see Coca-Cola's law firm's racial equity mandate? Yes. Firms must meet a racial quota to represent them. Death Sport is highly recommended by Doomcock." Yeah, Death Sport is on my list. Death Sport is on my list. I don't actually have a tattoo on my urethra, guys. That was a joke. Tonight we're going to watch Coming to America, the original. Someone said it's only on there for Black History Month. That may be true, but also on March 5th, Coming to America premieres on Prime. So I think they're also doing it in anticipation of the launch of Coming to America 2. So we will be doing Coming to America, and then let me do this. I have found the movie, the second movie. If you don't know, there's a first movie and then there's a second movie. Okay? That's how I do, that seems to make sense, but it's necessary to realize that there's a first movie and a second movie. And the second movie is completely different than the first movie. Where is it? Here we go. The second movie has specific characteristics. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this movie is, but I have found the second movie based on this review. All right, So this is the preview for the second movie tonight. And if this review doesn't sell you on this second movie, I honestly don't know what will. But I will not reveal the title of the second movie. You have to come to the Twitch stream to watch it. Okay? So here we go. Up here. I'll read it. Degrades the mind and body. That's the title of this review. Degrades the mind and body. It says, "I only watched this so I could feature it in my nudity is bullshit list. This is the kind of filth that makes you wonder why women do this to themselves. I just don't understand why stuff like this is made. Only a rotten degenerate could get gratification out of watching this. The plot was probably written by some douchebag. The characters were just awful. All that happens is some rednecks go to a strip bar and women in bathing suits take their clothes off. Seriously, every woman in this film gets naked. They throw in some Bigfoot impersonator and random lesbian sex. It just kills your morality. I feel like filth right now while I am writing this. This movie sucks. If you watch it and enjoy it, then you have problems." So, I figure we have to find out if we have problems by watching this movie. It's not Showgirls. Showgirls isn't actually on Prime. And Showgirls is a pretty decent movie. Like, aside from the nudity, it's actually like a well-written film. But yeah. So anyway, that's the second movie tonight. So I'm all prepped for the movie night tonight. We've got everything lined up and ready to go. I strongly recommend you join us at least for Coming to America. If you're not a degenerate, and if you're not a degenerate, you don't have to stay for the second movie. But Coming to America is a great movie. Great movie. One of my favorites. I watched it all the time growing up. Really, really funny stuff. Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall in their prime. Just all around great. So Craig Litton says, I am typing this super chat at 105 words per minute. Oof. I'm getting terrified. Wait. Chris Ora 2066 says, heard apparently anime and game voice actor Quentin Flynn won in court today after a movement similar to what happened with Vic. Could this give some more hope for Vic if the appeals come through? Look, if the appeals come through, either way, I don't think Vic needs much hope. The appeals coming through is gravy. It would be wonderful. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's good news in general. It's good news against this idea of mob revengeance upon someone for some perceived slight that they then make up allegations about someone. It's good to see that those were somewhat punished. Although I've only heard that he won. I don't know what the terms of anything actually were. So I don't know. I've had a little bit of a long day. I'm very tired. Tomorrow's going to be a really long day. So I'm having a special opening drink tonight. This Kentucky Oak 10-year rye whiskey. This is one of the best rye whiskeys I've ever had by a long shot. It is the batch number 4, and from what I understand, they are not making any more ever. So this is like the last bottle. I might go buy another one because there was one more at my liquor store. I might go grab it. It was Zypher Warrior. Yep. I'm going to talk about Elon Musk in a minute and SpaceX. Stacy Dealman says, needed this stream. Me and my sister lost our best friend today. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully we can put a little bit of a smile on your face this evening and you don't have to deal with those other emotions for a little bit. Music and Fiction says, I have to wonder who is worse, Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett, the lying hussy, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, conspiracy congresswoman. I think we all lose. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's an interesting animal. And Kevin McCarthy walked a line today. He walked a line today. So they had a vote to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee appointments, and they had another vote to remove Liz Cheney from a leadership position in the Republican Party. Neither of those votes succeeded, to my knowledge. I don't think they actually did that. And McCarthy basically walked the line between the two. So he preserved Liz Cheney's leadership position, spoke passionately on her behalf, which is not a great sign for the Republican Party. Because, well, it's Liz Cheney and we're going back to war, boys. Actually, y'all are. I'm an old man. But that's that. As far as Marjorie Taylor Greene, yeah, she has some interesting and spicy takes. We'll put it that way. She's a little bit out there. But see, I get it, but I also don't see why, like, people know who she is. They still voted for her. This is this weird thing, right? I think we forget that we live in a representative republic. We do. I shouldn't say I think. We forget that we live in a representative republic all the time. If you want to elect a crazy whack job to represent your district, That's your district's choice. That's the right of the vote. They don't get... I actually have a big problem with Congress censuring its members because they're censuring a voting populace. We're not a democracy. This is actually a real sticking spot I have. Like, I might not like a crazy whack. Like, I don't like AOC. I think AOC's a nut. That's it. I mean, that's my opinion of her. I think she's a liar and a terrible person. However, I don't think she should be stripped of her ability to represent her district. Like, they voted for her. I think they're all terrible. So why do we have the ability to say, oh, these people can vote for whoever they want, but when they vote for them, actually, we don't want them to have any position at all to influence government? That's a weird way for Congress to have control over a voting population. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But that's me. So, kill notes. It's not a GOP senator. It's a GOP representative, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's the blonde chick I think that you're thinking of. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole like censoring thing and stripping them of appointments and stuff. People still wanted that. Whatever that is, they wanted that to represent them. And the fact that we can just arbitrarily take away their representation, that's kind of what we fought the war over. But that's, yeah. Anyway. What district? She was voted by Twitter. The people of her district tried to get rid of her. Wait, who are you talking about? Anyway. I mean, yeah, never mind. What's wrong with AOC stripping? Nothing until she smiles. Okay. Brandon Caballero says, if I sleep with a girl and give her the clap, then she sleeps with a friend giving him the clap. Is that friendly fire? Yes. Yes. Bad Vibe says, Nick, I was in Portland, Oregon and assaulted by a cougar. She was yelling, secure your PS5. It was horrible. This insanity has to stop. Did you get a PS5? Chief Beef says, huh? RW Bimby says, when you gonna stream co-op play 7 Days to Die Zombie Craft Survival Sandbox with Uncivil, Drex, and Ty? I don't know. However, I have been invited to play some Gladius with Sargon and Arch Warhammer. So I don't know if they stream those or not. I gotta ask, but I think that'll be fun. So we'll see. I don't know if they do stream it, then I will stream with them. If they don't stream it, I wouldn't want to infringe on that privacy or anything. But if they do, I'll gladly join in on that. I've never actually played Gladius, so I got to play some practice rounds. So I might be playing that pretty soon here. Bad Vibe says, Boomer, think there has to be a harder way. Yes. Cars in Depth says, cameras, normal folks call B&H. Who's B&H? Again, I hear Beard and Harris every time. B&H to me is just Beard and Harris. Music and Fiction says, Val's Rapid Service, go there, never Five Guys. Hashtag, there isn't a Val's Rapid. I'm in Minnesota. If there's something that you think is good food, it doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist. I am sad to say that I have not watched Redo of Healer episode 4 yet. That I do need to make sure and watch as soon as possible. Bad Vibe says, was it the Blue Oyster? No. He says, oh, so you didn't do any all-night dancing. No, I don't do all-night dancing. That sounds terrible. JJ Joestar says, Best Buy is horrible. They've been caught selling broken and damaged products for years. Sold me broken laptop. You're not alone, my friend. Dude, I was at Best Buy. And I see they've got a person with like a nice new 70-inch or 75-inch TV, right? And they've got a pickup truck there, and they've got the truck tailgate open, and they're going to put this TV in this person's truck. What do you think they did? What is the worst way to do that? They tipped it on its side. They tipped the 70-inch TV on its, like, flat down and put it in the truck bed laying down. What the? It says on every box, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not made to have the pressure on the screen that way. And that's how they loaded it in the car. It's like, what? Why are you? Oh, this person just spent, I don't know, it didn't look like, it was like an 8,000 series, so it was probably like $1,000, but still, this person spent like $1,000 on that TV, and you're just putting it in. The workers have the rock. It was the workers loading it in the car. Oh, I was so mad. I was like, this is such Best Buy. This is Best Buy incarnate. Oh. Biden the Cold One says chess is my wealth. That guy has some gems. He has some gems. Does good Tex-Mex / Mexican food exist in Minnesota? Because it sure as hell doesn't exist while I was living in Oregon. You can get some decent Mexican food around here because we actually have a lot of illegal immigrants here in, in the town near me in Wilmer. Has a high illegal population and a high legal Mexican population as well. But some of the restaurants are actually owned by illegals here, which is great. They have good food. Make some fine burritos and tacos. Authentic style tacos, right? But have I talked about the latest Maricopa County, Arizona audit fight? I did a video on when the election board finally agreed to hand over the requested material to the House or the Senate Republicans, but I haven't been following it since then. I got to take a look. Okay. Big Red Bear. So what you're saying is that your Thousand Suns Marines really are the Matt Jarbo of paint quality. I feel vindicated. Yes. Yes. E1337 Neo says, what about the tamales? I have like 50 tamales sitting in my freezer right now. And they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Made by a local lady, not like not a restaurant, but they just a couple ladies get together and make some tamales here in town. E1337 Neo says, hey, Nick, never forget that there's nothing manlier than 5 guys in your mouth. Angry Baneling says, stream goal, put archive link in the description. Oh, yeah, I'll do that, I guess. Just a second. Let's see. Nope. Don't want that running. Here we go. Go to the channel. I think I'll have banner art and an avatar picture for that channel tomorrow. So that's nice. This stream will be archived on the Ricada Law Live channel here. Okay. Yeah, I saw someone today say that they were looking for the replays and they didn't know I hid them on that channel. It's like, I've been trying to announce this and talk about it, but it's hard to get the message out. It's actually really difficult to get people to know where those archives go. The nature of how YouTube works, and people cycle in. So I tried to give some warning, but it just not everybody gets to see it. Here, it's in the description. This is where all of the replays go. All of the replays of the live streams are going to be on that channel. There, I mean, the 5, I think, most recent ones are there already, and they have been getting some views and stuff like that. So I know people are seeing it, and the subscriptions to that channel are going up. I just want to make sure that people know that those are always there. They're always there. So, where is Ty in the swearing in? That's Friday. Friday. Can you pin a comment on the community page and maybe put it in all your descriptions? I can, but the descriptions go away when I move them to the other channel. That's the hard part about this. Lagging, yes. I'm going to do a specific Rittenhouse video tomorrow about the bail situation. I'm going to do one then. The DA in Wisconsin is being a complete figgot, to put it nicely, complete fig, about Kyle Rittenhouse, and it's almost like the DA in Wisconsin wants Kyle Rittenhouse harmed. Would be real convenient for the DA in Wisconsin if Kyle Rittenhouse got killed, wouldn't it? It would be real fucking convenient if they didn't have to go through with that absolute shit case that they have. But yeah, so Kyle and his family have moved into a safe house. They did not, quote unquote, inform the court of their new address, because when you inform the court of an address change, it is publicly available. It's a public record. So the defense attorney had tried to inform the prosecutor that Kyle would be moving, and if they could keep the address confidential, he would share it with them. The prosecutor declined to allow that. And so they didn't tell him. They didn't update the court. And so now the prosecutor is trying to use that as evidence that Kyle should have higher bail conditions and should be returned to jail if he's not willing to do them, because he knows that their fundraising drive is over. So now he wants to impose an additional $200,000 bail on Kyle Rittenhouse, and he wants to do that because he probably doesn't think they'll be able to get it. Possible to get Kyle on the stream? I would not risk that. No. That kid is fighting for his life. There's no way I'm going to have him come on my show and happen to say anything that might get him to have a lesser chance of making it through that. So if he inevitably beats the charges, then I would gladly reach out to him. I don't know that he'd want to come on, but I would gladly have him on if he were able to beat the charges. But until then, I wouldn't even ask, personally. So, let's see. Bad Vibe says dusk to dawn. No. Aloise Dawdle says, did you hear about the Martina Marcota lawsuit? You asked this yesterday. Yes, I did hear about it. I'm waiting to get my hands on the documents before I'm going to comment too much on it. Right now, my initial assessment of the lawsuit, look, I knew about it back when it happened, or when it was starting up, and I had the opportunity to talk to both sides of that argument. I chose not to really get into it because I wasn't super interested in the lawsuit. And it seems like something that really shouldn't exist. in my opinion, it seems like a lawsuit that shouldn't be. Something that could have been resolved, and the amount of money in question isn't massive as far as I can tell. And the legal issues from my basic look at it seem kind of cut and dry. But I am going to actually take a look at the lawsuit. It's been heating back up between both sides on Twitter and stuff like that. So I'm going to take a look. If it's interesting, I'll talk about it. If it's not interesting, I won't. Skeeth 205. Yeah, I'm probably going to do, because I'm going to, there's like an intro video that I recorded a long time ago back at my old house and everything. There's an intro video that on the channel, and I'm probably going to record a new one and put it up as the intro video and the returning video, just so people know that, you know, the short clips are going to be about legal and political issues, and I'll also mention my other channels with their sorts of things as well, and I'll mention the live stream. So it's been a long time. I need to refresh that video, so I will be doing that soon. Douglas Mackey is being charged with a felony for shitposting on Twitter 5 years ago, and that's a travesty. I don't know anything about Douglas Mackey. They call him like a racist or a white supremacist, so I have to assume he's probably not, but maybe he is. I literally never have heard of this guy, but he posted a thing to inviting people to send a text message to vote for Hillary Clinton, which was a joke. The idea of the joke is if you're dumb enough to send a text message to vote and not go and vote in person, then you probably shouldn't vote anyway. I think that was the joke. But now they're trying to get him for election fraud or election manipulation, voter intimidation. You have to realize everything about what's going on now is rooted in 2016. Everything today, nothing happened in the Democrats' mind between the election day of 2016 and January 20th of 2021. Nothing happened. None of that exists. It's a mind fart in history. That is a blackout drunk weekend for AOC. Nothing happened. Right? They woke up naked in a pool of man juice, and they now have slipped on their high heels and miniskirt and are walking home in shame, and nothing happened that weekend. All right? What they know is Hillary Clinton was just not elected, and now Joe Biden is president. Those are the only two things that they know. And so everything is going back to 2016. All the stuff with Donald Trump, all the punitive actions on Donald Trump, it's about 2016. Everybody who supported Donald Trump, everybody who stands up for him, it's about Hillary Clinton. It's about Hillary. They've been doing it since 2016. The Steele dossier, all this stuff was about Hillary Clinton losing the election. They will never forgive America for it. They will never do it. So everything you see, why are they prosecuting a guy for something that happened 5 years ago? By the way, nothing he did would have changed the election, right? So in the eyes of the courts, that should be a moot lawsuit, latches or whatever. Even if you accept the premise that he somehow suppressed a voter by telling them to vote by text, which in no way prevents them from going to the polls and voting. Like if you tell me right now, hey, Nick, you can vote by text, and I send you a text, that doesn't mean I didn't vote. Doesn't mean anything. Nothing he did actually suppressed a voter. So, but they're prosecuting him because Hillary Clinton lost. And again, you have to remember all of this stuff. All of this stuff is about them not being able to accept that Hillary Clinton lost. And I I do want to say the Republicans are at risk of doing the same thing. Fair or not, at some point, Republicans will have to accept the Trump loss. Again, they don't have to accept it as fair, but being stuck like the Democrats have been stuck for 5 years is not going to be profitable for the Republican Party in the long run, or for whatever happens. I don't care about the Republican Party. I already know I'm going to get heat for that. It's not about the Republican Party. That doesn't matter. It's not profitable for you to get stuck in a particular moment in history. Again, even if at this point, it doesn't matter if Trump won by 80 million votes. I mean, 80 million above the votes that he got. So if he beat Joe Biden by double Joe Biden's vote totals, but Joe Biden was inaugurated, it doesn't matter at this point. Well, I sound like Hillary now. What does it matter at this point? Because of the inauguration, that's not going to get undone. So Republicans wallowing and sitting on that fact is only a danger to their ability to do anything going forward. And so that's what I mean by it. They don't have to accept it as true. They don't have to accept it as just or legitimate. They don't have to do any of that. But getting stuck at that moment in time is where the Democrats have been since 2016, and it's actually not a positive thing. And there are ways to go about trying to take things back. And if they're stuck in 2020, they'll never do it. That's what I mean. Aurelianus says, "What's up, Nick? Ever have Japanese whiskey?" Yeah, a couple. Big fan of Yamazaki. Very good. Love the show. Good vibes and well wishes. Hey, man, good vibes and well wishes back to you. Yamazaki, I think I had a 17-year Yamazaki down in Houston at Kamehacon. Not Kamehacon. Anime Matsuri. I'm pretty sure I bought Vic one, and he wasn't too fond of it. Because let's talk about the real issue here. And, this will probably get back to Vic somehow, but I've got to call this man out. Vic is a good man. Vic is charismatic. He's caring. He's wonderful. He's thoughtful. He's overwhelmingly and exceedingly nice. But Victor Mignogna, has pleb tier taste in alcoholic beverages. Absolutely abysmal. Unrefined, cretin taste in alcoholic beverages. And I need to call this man out. These are unacceptable takes from this guy. Look, I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how many people like you. You have this pedestrian approach to liquor. And we're going to have some discussions. So, look, and if that gets back to Vic, look at it. Look, I don't even care. I don't even care if that gets back to him. The truth has to be told here. I've held up this charade for too long. Too long. I bring this man a glass of Lagavulin 16, and he coughs and complains like, oh, it's so smoky. Yeah, Vic. Yes, it's smoky. Wait. Oh, it's so smoky, bro. I'm not really sure if I like this. No, stop it. You stop it. The truth has to come out. The truth, the exposure of Vic Mignogna must happen. Eaglone says the guy that gets drunk on Fireball. That was punishment. I hate Fireball. Oh, God, it's so bad. So terrible. All right, Blasphemous Atheist says, what would you think of a political party called the John Locke Party? The same thing I think of the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, all of them. Look, I don't like Democrats or Republicans, but the reality is, at this point, they've basically cemented they basically cemented the two-party system in the way that it exists, and the idea of fracturing or splitting either of those parties is very low. Very low. I don't find at this point that the support for it is profitable. I think the Democrats would love nothing more than to have a split in the Republican Party. And the reason I know that is because I would love nothing more to have a split in the Democrat Party. The third party is just not going to be, it's just, you're not going to have any influence at all. And maybe that's the solution. Just giving you my opinion on it, right? Just my opinion on it. Next, CJ says, yes, most of the time they do stream Gladius. Okay, cool. William Amiot says, hey, Nick, I'm making a thing. Any chance you could ask any comic artists in the chat to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram? I'm at William Amiot on both. I swear it's for the fans. Thanks. Okay, if there's any comic artists in the chat, hit at William Amiot, Amyot, on Twitter or Instagram. Hit him up. Hit him up. Let's see. Bad Vibe says no, but if anyone is interested, head for 57th and Sandy Boulevard. Oh, is that where the PS5 is? Bad Dragonite says Randy Orton was loading the TV. RKO, out of nowhere. Brandon Caballero says, any Vic updates? Not yet. In theory, there could be one tomorrow. It's not really particularly likely. Again, 9 months from September 22nd is kind of a barometer. That's sometime in May, I think. Robert Levito says, hey, Nick, been introducing my cousins to older movies. They had never seen Super Troopers. Next was Porky's. It's been great. Old movies are great. New movies tend to be terrible. Literally everyone says, Susan Rosenberg was arrested in 1985 for bombing the Capitol building, was pardoned by Clinton, and now raises money for Black Lives Matter. Well, yeah. Bad Vibe says, do you skim over the Tyson versus Easterday case? No, not yet. Angry Baneling says, I blame Gamergate for the lack of redheads here. That's a travesty. Stargate 404 says, I got to get up for legal writing and research in 5 hours but can't sleep. Thanks for keeping me company. Oh, no. Oh, legal writing and research is a terrible class. Ours was writing, research, and practice. Serial Foxy says, Redneck Roots? Nope. Kingly Gaming says, I was going to wait for when Ty gets back on, but if you could interview one person, fiction or nonfiction, alive or dead, who would it be and why? Whoa. Fiction or nonfiction? If I could interview one person? Let's see. Nonfiction. Let's go with nonfiction first. No, let's go with fiction first. I would interview. I just had them in my head. Damn it. I just had the fiction. Oh, Hiram Graff from Ender's Game. That's who I would. That's the fictional person I would interview. It's got to be the Big E. No way, Ron Crossman. I would be awed by his presence and wouldn't be able to ask any questions. I would interview Hiram Graff from Ender's Game for fiction. For nonfiction, I would probably interview. This is a very good question. I would probably interview Nestor from the Iliad. I think that'd be very interesting. Why for both of them? Hiram Graff. I would want to interview Hiram Graff because he's not as smart as everyone he has to manage. And I want to know how he consistently controlled the people he was managing when they were so much smarter than him. I think that'd be an interesting interview. Nestor is already old at the time of the Iliad, and he knows the old stories and the old wars before the Iliad, and I would like to talk to him about that. So that's what I would... Imagine what wisdom you could gain from someone who was old at the start of one of the most famous wars in history and regarded as a sage amongst a legion of kings. Very, very interesting to me. Bad Vibe says, from someone who hates coffee, yeah, sorry, I stand with Vic. Your taste buds are broken, likely because your nose has smelled too much. Coffee's awful. Stormcrow900 says, who are these Federalist Society guys you and Razor lambast? I don't lambast them so much. Robert Barnes does. I'm indifferent to the Federalist Society, but Federalist Society, it's an organization of people, and they have a massive amount of influence over basically conservative views of law. I don't know if you guys know this, but like law isn't as set in stone as people like to make it out to be. It's like, oh, well, this is the law around abortion. This is how it is. That's a very law Twitter take, but lawyers who are working on cases, you can't look at something that way because you've got a client in front of you that says, I need this. I need this. And you go, if you look at your client and you say, well, you can't have that, then you don't have a client. So what you have to do is when your client says, I need this, you say, okay, this is going to be a tough road, but let me figure out how we can try and get there. And if you're willing to try with me, we can do it. Can't make any promises because here's how things are right now, and here's what it'll take to change that up. But you have to try and deliver results. So the Federalist Society has a particular judicial perspective, and Robert Barnes has been highly critical of them because that judicial perspective is basically how conservative justices have been chosen, since Bush and even before. And to put that in perspective, that means that 3 people were appointed to the Supreme Court by Donald Trump, and none of those 3 people wanted to take a single election case. So that'll give you an idea of the Federalist Society judicial interpretations of things, right? They recommended these 3 justices. They supported and endorsed them. They were probably instrumental in compiling the short list of justices that a president would appoint to various position, and it was followed through. And then when President Trump needed them, they did not come through because their judicial philosophy is aligned with the Federalist Society and not with what Trump needed. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just a criticism of them. And I do think that the 3 justices appointed by Trump did him a little bit of a disservice, at least by not hearing Texas versus Pennsylvania. I don't think they were going to overturn the election. They never have maintained that they would, but I think that they did him a disservice by not at least hearing the case. I think they did our country a disservice, more important than Trump, but I do think that judicial perspective was one that was informed by the Federalist Society. And that's what Robert Barnes was saying before, during, and after the election. Legal Beagle take on Magnus's defense at the Council of Nicaea win. Look, Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea was the Bible one. Nicaea was the Warhammer one. Look, Magnus did nothing wrong. How dumb is Legal Eagle? The dumbest. Terrible person. Really awful. Very pedestrian takes. Not good. Not well informed. His brain is not good like mine. I have a good brain. Very terrific. Wonderful brain. Many people have looked at my brain. They said they've never seen anything like it before. Legal Eagle, we see this brain every day. It's a terrible brain. Very common. Nothing new to see here. No one needs to listen to this. Omreet says, Nick, please think of a way for you and Ty and whomever to make a 40K roleplay video series. Thanks. Cheers from Bulgaria. Ulash1 says, you should have said Thomas Jefferson so there would finally be clarification on the Constitution. I don't think Thomas Jefferson is the be all end all of the Constitution either. Like you ask Hamilton and Jefferson the same question, you're going to get two answers. You ask Madison the same question, you'll get an even different answer. Diesel Mechanic 88 says, paying through Streamlabs because YouTube sucks. Those scum can no longer have my money. Just wanted to say redo of Healer episode 4 was legit. I do plan to watch it ASAP. Tomorrow at the latest. Night of Hope says, I don't support it. Fuck your lifestyle. Tolerance doesn't mean approval. What was that? Oh, that's the gay lifestyle, I think. Night of Hope says, 1, I died before the story ended. 2, none of us have any choice but to dwell on Ray. He's most of the continent at this point. Thank goodness he's a lazy fatso, or we'd have to deal with the cataclysm of him managing to leave his crater at some point. Drunk says, in Kermit voice, holy shit, Ricketts. I'm fucking so drunk right now. Keep grifting off me and other drunk idiots. Hope your family is doing good. I'm praying for them, but fuck you and your grift. All lawyers are shit. They do the devil's work. Love your videos. Hey, thanks, Drunk. Much appreciated. Matches Burn says, Nick got jealous when he saw the big gay bear tattoo artist has a bigger sensor than him. It's okay. It's not the size of the sensor, but how you use it, Nick. It says, calling it now, Nick has a I Heart Matt Ward tattoo and an Ultra Smurfs tramp stamp. No. Who's Matt Ward? Oh, the guy who wrote the Ultramarines. I keep forgetting that. Siren Jag says, are you saying that I can come to Minnesota and face paint you? Then we can take photographs and blow those up. No. Night of Hopex says, I realized the other day that I'm too old to draft and I got kind of depressed. On the one hand, I should probably be glad there's at least a formality between this tin-op oligarchy and it sending me to my death. On the other hand, though, geez, so old it sucks. Namru says, Nick, love your videos. I'm drunk as shit, so take your money. Poor college student here. Don't worry, I've got the funds to give you $5 every now and then. Thank you. Look, because if you didn't have $5, I'd ask you what you were doing with your life. Yashken says, hey, Nick, want to know something funny? Look up Ellie from Borderlands 2 and you won't believe who voices her. Spoilers, Jamie Marchi. I am aware. But they're twins, so makes sense. Did you guys see? If you're not one of my anime adjacent fans, you may not know this, but there's an ugly voice actress named Jamie Marchi, and she is now selling voice acting classes for $400. Which is about the worst $400 I can imagine. $400. You can buy a Microsoft Surface Go for $400. You can buy an exquisite whiskey or a bunch of moderate whiskeys for $400. You can light it on fire. You can roll up $400 into a tube and eat it. You do anything better than spending $400 on learning how to talk into a microphone from Jamie Marchi. God, I cannot imagine listening to that insufferable person. I think someone suggested I should take them. Like, buy it as an alias, go into her class, ask her all sorts of good questions. By the way, is anyone still holding GameStop? GameStop been taking a tumble. Down to 90 a share-ish, somewhere around there. That's an interesting story. The SEC is now looking into manipulation on behalf of the big Redditors involved. illegal trading practices. By the way, we have a president that's beholden to Wall Street. Oh, they're not going after you guys. They're going after the big fish. They should be looking into the naked short and said, no. Listen. Hedge funds are allowed to do this. Peasant, you aren't. Hedge funds are allowed. You peasant, you are not. Yeah, Gara Sankar. Here's how I knew GameStop was dead. I'll tell you guys a secret. I found out about GameStop. At that point, it was dead. There was no point. That's when it died. I think that night is the night it went up to 500 or whatever, and then the next day is when it started to go, and they started controlling everything. That's how I knew GameStop was dead. I'm like, oh Christ, the normies know. The normies know. Now it's over. It's over. It's hit the news. The news caught up to Reddit. It's over. Done. At that point, there was no chance. So that's why, I never got into it, because there's no purpose. I'm like, oh, if I buy into it now, it'll fail dramatically. It'd go down to negative $4 a share. You'd have to pay to own your own share. Like, you'd have to pay extra to own shares. So there was no. And None says you are the normies. Yes, that's my point. That's the thing. Once I've heard about it, like, I'm not following the elite secret Reddit threads or anything like that. I'm not on the cutting edge of any of this stuff. So once I find out about it, it's way too late. It's way too late. I won't be able to get in. So that's how I knew. That's how I knew. I tried to warn you guys. People told me, they're like, oh, buy anyway. I'm like, no, it's not going to be a good deal. Not good for me. Not a good deal. Stone Cold Negan, I hope he sold at 300. The squeeze is still coming by the dip. It's not. And here's part of the reason, right? So what Reddit did was, Reddit was able to stay organized for like a day. Not a day, actually a significant amount of time. They're able to stay organized and to keep doing this stuff and to push and pump it up. And then the normies got in on it, and it really, really took off, right? Elon Musk tweeting it. That's what really drove it, is an influx of new buyers and some more sagacious hedge funds that saw the opportunity as well. They bought in. And then they moved out. But the thing was, it was organized and focused for a little while. As long as you can stay organized and focused, that's how this works. That's why hedge funds work. Hedge funds are the concentration of millions to billions of dollars with a very small pool of decision makers and a very organized strategy. That's why they're able to influence stock. They have enough buying power and organization to do so. Reddit had the buying power and for a time had the organization, but that starts to crumble when individuals start cashing out. You go, whoa, hey, bought in it. I bought in at $40 a share. This is $350 now. It's looking pretty good for me. They cash out. They make a ton of money. Lots of people see those opportunities, or they have practical realities going in. And, people can say hold as much, but a hedge fund just holds. They don't have to convince anyone else. So that's the problem that the Reddit has with these things. They can make very short moves, but eventually everybody involved in that's going to go, wait, at some point this might come down, and they'll be opportunistic about it, or they'll be self-serving, because that's what we are. And that's okay. But they won't be able to hold that organized front. Okay. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. Darth Grumpy says, gonna be a wild weekend tonight with the movies. It might be. Alexandria Ocasio Smollett says, there I was in Vietnam. Charlie was surrounding us and hiding in the bush. We were taking fire from all directions. I was so afraid for my life. Your favorite gay panda just sent cum. Crusader Saracen says, a better, more realistic path forward for populism in the Republican Party would be for Trump to throw his weight behind hand-picked congressional candidates in aggressive primaries, while someone more politically savvy like Ron DeSantis guns for the White House. Yeah, I mean, a lot like 2010, and then 2016. 2012, a little bit. 2014, a little bit. You know, the Tea Party was, for better or worse, it was unfocused is the problem, but the Tea Party was a wave of opposition. And that's what they need to ride, that wave of opposition in the 2-year short term. And then in the 4-year, they need to unseat Kamala Harris. Hated 7 Days to Die says, if you end up playing 7 Days to Die on stream, let me know. I will organize a couple of free keys for you to give away. I thought you said you hated 7 Days to Die. Hessian says, hey, Rackets, long time no chat. You mentioned on some streams the need to build resilient networks and independence from big tech. Please take a look at Urbit. It's a cool technological solution to the problem. Downside, new and weird tech. DM if you have questions. Hessian, where do I DM you? Kermit the Frog says, we at the Academy would like to present this honorary award to AOC, whose amazing performance was a tour de force. Note the Fellini-esque way our protagonist must engage in her goal for survival. The pathos we feel is only underscored by chaos around her. Good Lord. It's a time to regulate Big Reddit. It's not. It's not. I love that the Yellen is out there, or no, I read some smug ass expert's opinion on the GameStop thing, and they're like, well, regulation might be appropriate. This does not look like investing. This looks like gambling. Hey, motherfucker, most of investing is gambling. At some stretch, at some point, it is basically gambling. That's what it is. Stop this. We have to stop pretending that investing is something more sophisticated and nuanced. It's like, sure, investing as a hedge fund is gambling with a card counter. It's blackjack with that team of autisms who could count through the cards. Like that's all that hedge funds are. You don't always win. They stack the odds in their favor through all sorts of sophistication and heavy buying power. What was that book called? Did you guys read that book? That was a really interesting book. Not The Big Short. No, the one about the blackjack players. None. Yes, the one written by that Asian. I didn't watch the movie because it looked terrible, but the book was actually really good. Was it just 21? Bringing Down the House. Thank you. Bring Down the House. Great book. Not super long. Really interesting look into how card counting can basically break blackjack. But card counting is much more sophisticated than one person sitting there counting cards. They developed a serious system. And it involved multiple people. And it involved a significant amount of money. They were able to make a lot of money doing it, but they had to really develop it out. You couldn't just get one person sitting at a table counting cards, playing blackjack by themselves and winning. You had to do some other things to get the odds in your favor. But it's a really cool, really good book. Well, I own that book. I don't see it on my shelf anywhere. I don't know what happened to it, but that's how investing is. That's in a lot of ways, right? So your normal investor who's like day trading on Robinhood, that's like a single person playing blackjack. Now, maybe they're able to count some cards, maybe they can develop some strategies and learn some things to watch, and they can do okay, and they can occasionally come out ahead of the house. That's how blackjack is. There's some skill involved. If you learn the rules and you keep track of things and you play conservatively, it gives you an opportunity to beat the house. Whereas like a slot machine is all random chance, blackjack is mitigated. And of course, the payouts on blackjack are mitigated by the fact that skill can be involved. It's an uncontrollable factor, and the house mitigates against that uncontrollable factor. Investing alone is like that. And then you can start bringing in, you could do investment funds and stuff to consistently try to come out ahead of the house most of the time, but you're going to mitigate your upward potential when you do things like that. And there's different strategies and ways to go about it. But yeah, the GameStop thing, in a lot of ways, I mean, it was playing with a much fuller deck. But I know people say investing isn't gambling. I mean, kind of. Knowing when companies are strong. Yeah, but these days, think about it. Company can be strong, but you find out that a CEO dropped the N-word in 1988. That company gets a lot less strong really fast. It doesn't make any sense. What about MyPillow? MyPillow, you got Mike Lindell wrapped up and stuff. That company has now been dropped by like every major vendor. It's you don't know what's going to happen. You can make a lot of hedges. You can do a lot of planning and a lot of research, and you can really make some wise decisions. But at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of someone else. COVID threw off a lot of people's investment plans in some ways. John Moriarty, yeah. The long game is a sure thing, relatively, if you're well diversified, and so long as the overall economy doesn't collapse into third world degeneracy. I mean, that works. Crusader Saracen says, just adding another deck while dealing blackjack makes card counting essentially impossible. They were, these guys were counting 5 decks. They counted 5 decks. They added a 6th deck, and it kind of ruined their system. So what they practiced and found the ability to do was to cut exactly 52 cards down and to eliminate the 6th deck. They just consistently were able to cut 52 cards. Hated 7 Days to Die says, no, I don't hate it. I work on the game. Really? Oh, that's cool. Some guy says, source on the DOJ retracting their bomb threat accusations. No, the capture and kill accusation is what I was talking about, the DOJ retracting. Baron Wolfsbane, it's the same number of odds of pulling any cards. Sort of, but the trick with counting cards in blackjack is you have to keep track of how many face cards have been played. And when you have 6 decks deep or whatever they had, it made it really, really difficult to keep track of the number of face cards and the probability of pulling another one. Because you have, for every face card, you have 9, or for every 10 plus value card, you have 9 cards below it. And so those, on a shuffle, those can get mixed in and the probabilities get messed up. But anyway, it's a good movie. All right, let me find these again. Amateur Ant says you should do an interview with Tupac. He lives in Cuba. He made his money and got out. No, he's on. Yeah, he's on the island with Biggie Smalls and Aaliyah and Elvis. Clay Early says almonds are the gayest nut. Regular Pat says, where should I start with Warhammer? Books, maybe? Look, I like the books. Oh, I got a new Warhammer book today. I was gonna show it on stream. It's upstairs though. I don't really want to go get it. Diamond Duck 98 says, yeah, did I say movie? The book was good. I didn't watch the movie. You're right. Probably slipped there. When you dealt tables in a casino, you were always able to tell when someone was counting cards and would always be quiet about it. These people need to clean house, so I get more tips. Oh my gosh. The book is Bringing Down the House, John Connors. It's a quick read, but it is fun. Anyway, where should you start with Warhammer? Books, maybe. I like the books. I would love to play Warhammer. I don't know that that's a real possibility for me to do in any reliable way, mainly because playing full-on tabletop Warhammer takes like 2 to 3 hours, and you have to have someone around to play it, and I don't have either of those things. So I read the books. A great place to start on the books, in my opinion, is at Horus Rising, the first book of the Horus Heresy series. That is a phenomenal series of books, really exciting, and they get you into the universe pretty well. If you don't want to do that, Xenos, the first Eisenhorn book, is great. It is really a quality book, and again, it exposes you to a lot of different parts of Warhammer very quickly. And then my final other recommendation would be the Ultramarines Omnibus or the Space Wolves Omnibus. Either one of those would be good. Here's the Ultramarines Omnibus, for example. You can tell I've read through this one. It's a good place to get started in these books. It's the tale of Uriel Ventress and his homeboy Pausanias, and they have some wild adventures, and you get to just explore a lot of different aspects of Warhammer 40K. So, those are the ones that I prefer. The reason I don't Space Wolves, some people like them more than Ultramarines. I think this particular omnibus, Uriel Ventress, is more interesting than the Ragnar books to me. I like him better than Ragnar. Like I don't particularly like Space Wolves. I think they get a little cliche to me, but I would not begrudge someone who likes Space Wolves over Ultramarines generally. But I will say that in my perspective, Uriel Ventress makes a more interesting character than any of the Space Wolf books. But it's because he's so un-Ultramarine-like. Khan and the White Scars. Yeah, White Scars are cool. I really like Korax. I didn't at first, but my favorite overall Space Marine is Nyrona Sherokin, who is a Raven Guard. And I mean, that dude is cool as shit. I didn't even like the Raven Guard that much, but Nyrona Sherokin is awesome. Let's see. Frederick Little says, Nick, what's your favorite liquor? Also, what liquor do you consider the worst? Well, I mean, generally speaking, whiskeys. Whiskeys, bourbons, scotches, ryes. Those are my favorite. My favorite go-to liquor is still Lagavulin 16. Like, if I wanted something that I could just have around, it is kind of expensive, but it's like $90 a bottle, which is not cheap by any means, but it's also not the most expensive. It's a good, solid, have it around forever. But my favorite, like, Well, that 12-year peg leg porker is also really good, but that's so hard to get for me because I'm not in Tennessee. So I'm going to stick with the Lagavulin 16. My favorite, I mean, this Kentucky Owl is a contender for my favorite whiskey of all time. There's just something about how it tastes and what it does. It's really good. Also, the 25-year Dalwhinnie that I had is really fantastic. That was a $550 bottle of whiskey, though, so that's not something that you can just drink every day. So yeah, I think right now that Lagavulin 16 for everyday stuff, or Lagavulin 12, whew, and then this Kentucky Owl is probably my like high class stuff. What bourbon would you recommend for someone who's never had bourbon? Look, go simple. If you've never had bourbon, get a good, simple, staple bourbon. Bullet bourbon it's cheap. It's good. Basil Hayden's, again, cheap and good. Don't go with Maker's Mark. Don't do that to yourself. You deserve better than Maker's Mark. But Bullet and Basil Hayden's are great entry level, like not expensive bourbons that get the job done really well. Buffalo Trace, I guess I would prefer Bullet to Buffalo Trace. Bourbon isn't fancy whiskey. Bourbon is whiskey with over 51% of its mash being made out of corn. It has a specific requirement. Jim Beam. There was a really good review of Jim Beam on the whiskey. What is it? I don't remember. One of the whiskey channels that I occasionally watch. They did a good review of Jim Beam and how it's just a good, solid, like neutral whiskey that's really easy to drink. But yeah. No, seriously though, Basil Hayden's is good. Bullet Bourbon is good. Those are good entry-level bourbons. They're not going to break your bank, and they taste solid. They're balanced. They're nice. Why am I dressed up like Christian Grey today? Well, because I've been in my red room. Have I drank Wild Turkey? Yeah, plenty of times. It's okay. Wild Turkey 101 is one of the few whiskeys I actually like on ice. It's really, really delicious. Evan Williams single barrel is running $25 at ABC. Look, there's an Evan Williams that they sell only in Kentucky. That's like $11. That's actually really good. But they sell it only in Kentucky as far as I know. It's a specific one. It's like a thank you to Kentuckians for having the Evan Williams distillery. And it's like a solid bottle for $11 or $12. Clay Early, yeah, you see it. Wild Turkey 101 on ice is really terrific. What do I think of Crown Royal? I'm not a big fan of Crown. I like Crown Black. Crown Black is pretty good, but I'm not a big fan of just the regular Crown Royal. Also, pro tip, and maybe Brett can speak to this. I don't know if Brett had the same experience, but cops look for Crown Royal bags in cars in Minnesota anyway, because that's where the meth is. So if you do like Crown Royal, don't leave Crown Royal bags in your car, because if cops see them, they can actually use that to justify a search to look for meth. So don't do it. Dustman Narak J. Ever think of leaving Minnesota? Every day, buddy. Every day. It's just probably not going to happen. Breck says, yep, we often find them in ashtray or on mirrors. Yeah. Don't keep your meth. Don't keep your meth in a Crown Royal bag. Have a decoy Crown Royal bag and keep your meth in your anus or something. That's a better plan. I'm not but no, to answer the question about Minnesota, we've got a lot of family here. I don't see us moving. I'm just not. I don't like this state. I don't like the income tax. I really, really hate the income tax. I don't like the cold. But family is place. And family is, for the most part, family is here. It makes it really tough to leave. But man, if I could get out of here, I wouldn't mind it at all. I got 2 properties. That's the other problem, is I'd have to offload 2 houses and then convert that into a sweet-ass house somewhere else. Eagle Bear, you do not learn to love the cold. I don't, anyway. Frederick Little says, 2% right, says, listening in on my 7-hour drive to a sci-fi convention. Wait, are you going to the New Jersey one that Vic's going to? Is that coming up? Glad to hear your dulcet tones to keep me awake on the start of the trip. Well, I'm glad to be there for you. I'm glad to be there for you. Adam Wofford says, hey, Nick, did you email Jeff Hicks from WCSB about Warhammer 40K stream? The hell's WCSB? I saw your Twitch stream, and my God, man, those legs are so hairy. Wax them. Not a chance. You love the hair. You want to run your fingers through it and braid it like you're a black kid encountering Joe Biden's white hair legs for the first time. Why did I not sell the other house? We had some friends come on hard times, and we figure rather than selling the house, since it'll just kind of, I mean, it's kind of like a bank account. We decided to rent it to or lease it to them instead, while they got things in order. So, what we decided to do was to use the blessings that we've received in our life to bless someone else in a time of need. And that is something, not to get sentimental here, but that's something that was heavily instilled by both sets of my grandparents and my parents growing up. Is that the stuff that we get in this life, the fortunes, the benefits, the good times and the good things, they're not ours. We may work hard, we may earn them in many respects, but there's a lot of people who work hard. There's a lot of people who work really hard and do really great things, and they never hit off, right? Like I talked about this about YouTube in one of my stupid community posts. That was the algorithm community post. Is there's millions of people making great stuff on YouTube that'll never be seen by a big audience because of how YouTube's distribution algorithm works. It doesn't mean that their stuff is bad. It just means that they can't get anybody to watch it. Getting a damn eye on a video it's luck of the jaw or sacrificing a child to Slanesh or whatever to get it to happen. So that's true in life in a lot of ways. So I'm a religious man. I'm a Christian, and I chalk that up to God in a lot of ways. And you don't have to agree with that. That's okay. You can call it luck or karma or whatever you want. That's fine. I'm not here to mess with worldviews or anything. For me, I have looked back on my entire life and all of the bad times. And this is an important thing I learned in my 30s. Was in my earlier 30s, was that I went through some real shit. Working at Wells Fargo was one of the worst years of my life, if not the worst year of my life. It was a terrible, terrible year. I hated almost every day for a straight year. I can't think of another year of my life where I hated every single day. But working at Wells Fargo did that. But because I worked at Wells Fargo, I ended up working at Thrivent. And I had 3 very good years with Thrivent. And then because I worked at Thrivent, I went to law school. And I had 3 very fun years at law school. And then because I went to law school, I struck out on my own for a while. And I had a couple years that they were not the best, but they weren't bad. And then because I did that, I ended up doing this. So I look back, I look back on my life, and I look at how my fortunes and my failures have ended up where I am, and I'm in a good spot. And I chalk that up to God. And so nowadays when I have a shit day, I kind of let it go. Meow Day, no, a different family got the second Xbox that I got. So I kind of let it go because I think this is in the temporary, this is bad, but I think it'll lead to something better. And that's probably where my election perspective comes in and why I disagree with some people on like the direness of the election. And I might be wrong. Like, I'm not saying I'm right on it, but that's where that perspective comes from. So, anyway, to make a very long story short, our blessings they're not entirely the product of our own design. And because of that, I don't regard them as entirely mine. And when someone comes into my life, and I am able to do something beneficial to them, I try to do that. So that's where our second house is. Believe me, in many ways, I would much rather have sold my second house. I don't want to pay the taxes on it, and I could really use the money that's in there. It has that's a big chunk of money that could be invested in my future. However, investing it in someone else's present is more important than that. Angry Baneling, I could sell it now, but it would throw them out of it. That seems like a dick thing to do. But no, when they're fully back on their feet and able to do their own thing, then I will sell the house. C. Goody says no family in Texas anymore. You don't have family in Texas? I have family in Texas still. I have plenty of family in Texas. I have family in Austin. I have family in Tyler. Apparently, there's a Hannah Ricada in Irving. I don't know who that is. But yeah, I would probably move to Texas in a heartbeat. I would love to live in Tyler, in all honesty. I like that stupid, weird town. It'd be fun to live by Ty and a bunch of my family members. I don't think that's a reality, but I actually would enjoy it quite a bit. Hannah is dating Sancho. Look, well, I'm going to pop a cap in Sancho and slap her down. Hanged Fox. I can, but the rental agreement I have with that family, no buyer would want to adhere to that rental agreement. They would not find that favorable. But no, I love Texas. I would love to be back in Texas. The food, the not cold, all that's great. Play Ding Dong Ditch on Vic. I wouldn't want to live by Vic. Way too urban for me. Volan Duvall, I did see the Warhammer 3 teaser. It looks great. Looks great. Dustman, yes, I've seen Orgasmo. Also a funny movie. I wish the Trey Parker and Matt Stone movies were on Amazon Prime, but they're not. Daniel Cadella, my heat allergy is mitigated pretty well by just having air conditioning. I just don't have to go outside very much. No, I would. Texas is a candidate. Florida is a candidate because my parents are there. I would love to live in Colorado. politically, Colorado kind of sucks, but in general, I like the area. I'd probably live near Pagosa Springs. That's where I'd want to live if I was living in Colorado. Okay. Bad Vibe says, Nick, I have given you thousands this year. It still had more value than Jamie's class. Just saying, thank you. And by the way, Bad Vibes, thank you. Yeah, it's noticed and it's very appreciated. I hope I always deliver the value to you that you provide to me. Kate Gossity says, of all your rogues gallery you've had to face since starting your crusade against idiots on the interwebs, who's the Joker to my Batman? Oh, boy. That's a tough one. I don't know. I guess it would be the... What was that? Yeah, Zypher Warrior, don't do that. The Vast of Night is on Amazon Prime. It was also shot in a small town in Texas. Excellent movie if you love the Twilight Zone. Toye is probably up there. He's been but he's been really quiet for a while now. At least in regards to me. Beddick Martin was a pain in the ass for a bit, but he's gone. I'd say Mike Dunford, but that would only be if the Joker were, handicapped or whatever. I don't know. I don't know that I have a Joker. YouTube's algorithm. That's it. What am I talking about? YouTube's algorithm is the Joker to my Batman. Cannot believe I didn't think of that sooner. Ash Ukihime says, hello, Nick. Rikeda, can you drink one for me? Last makes another year since my dad passed away, and I can't drink since I'm on a blood thinner. Thank you. Ash? To your dad, buddy. A good dad. Even an average dad. Even a slightly below average dad is a terrible loss. Anything short of a terrible dad is a hard thing to lose. And we have to always remember that for whatever our dad's faults may be, they did the best they were equipped to do. Cheers to him, buddy. See, Goody, Shane would almost be up there, but he was such a flash in the pan. And then he was gone. He's completely, he was a one-off. He was a side story character. All right. Layman Russ says, do you own a sword? I have Guns and Swords, piece by 2. I don't have a sword. I have a bayonet, an old, 1917 bayonet. I would like to own some swords, but I want them to be good, and it's hard to find an actual good one around. I like swords a lot, but no. Bad Vibe says, Nick, single deck blackjack, great odds. Yes. Yes. Bad Dragonite. Eagle owns swords raffle. You mean knives. But money can't buy knives. No, so I've decided on the knife raffle, I'm going to do one of two things. I know the raffle on the knives got really problematic when the case was lost and went to appeal, because the idea was to fund the GoFundMe with whatever happened with the knives. So the raffle or auction or whatever we ended up doing. But that got really weird to do the GoFundMe for that when the case is on appeal. I wasn't comfortable with doing that. So I've resolved to either do the knives. If the appeals come back negative and Vic's case is over, then what I'll do is I'll raffle the knives off or auction them off, and then we'll do a big donation to Vic's Twitch stream. And maybe that's what we do anyway. I think that'd be fun, right? Like right in the middle of one of his live streams, just drop a big ass donation on it. That'd be cool. That might be fun. Otherwise, if the appeals come back, you know, then it'd be used to pump the GoFundMe in some way. But one of those options. Bit donations is turned off on Twitch. Well, maybe he's got a Streamlabs or something. No, I wouldn't want to do it through. I don't want to give Twitch 50% of the donation. Let me make that clear. I don't want to do that. But even if it means going on to Vic's show, like, you know, sneaking on to the call-in or something and saying, hey, Vic, by the way, the fans really like you. Here's this thing to help in your endeavor or whatever. Whatever. I'm on Twitch. I'm going to work it out appropriately. It's not going to be in bits to Twitch. I'm not crazy. I'm not going to give Twitch a big chunk of the money. So we'll figure out how to do it the best way. But it would be a surprise for Vic. That would be the idea. JP Weiser's Rye Triple Barrel. I've never seen it around here, so that's tough. Okay. Let's see. Bad Dragonite says, just like gambling, the house rigs the game. Carthage Films says, hi, Nick. Here's a solution for your camera problem. Check out bnh.com. B&H are pro AV retailer based in New York City. I'd be happy to help too. Okay. I'll check it out. Ship him the money in a stack. Zyver Warrior, Vic could ask me to give it to a charity all day. The charity I would do is I would buy everybody in his line at a convention. Oh, that'd be fun. I'll go to a convention and buy everybody in his stupid line a personalized photograph or something. Right? That'd be great. And I'll say, hey, Vic, this is from the fans. From the fans, not for the fans. And then do that. And I'll record it or something. And then people can see, you know, his reaction. Because he'll probably cry. Because of his garbage taste in whiskey, he'll probably cry or smile or give a big hug to people or whatever. Done. We'll figure it out. Nicholas Hayes, yes. Vic said he'd be at Anime Matsuri this year. I think I will too. Eagle Lone, happy tears are still tears. Stop crying. Robert Levito says, so when are you transitioning to being a VTuber? Got to get on that mega grift. Oh, Oni-chan. Oh, God. Karanu says, did you talk about Ralph's court hearing from today yet? No, I haven't heard anything about it. What happened? What happened with Ralph's court hearing today? Does anybody know? Like, I know it's very popular on the Kiwi farms to say that, it's very popular to say that, like, I read everything on the Kiwi farm, but I don't. I sometimes do if I've got a guest on, but I haven't been following Ralph's situation with the actual like court case lately. I didn't know that he had a. I'll read the documents. I just didn't know he had a hearing today. An insider on the internet says, hey, Nick, I was wondering if I emailed you if you could help me set up a GoFundMe. Water heater in my place died. With current events, it's not exactly a fun we have. I mean, I could give you some pointers and ideas, but I don't know that it would be overly beneficial to do it. I mean, I can I can tell you what I know, but ultimately, if you're just a person on the internet doing a GoFundMe, you got to target someone. Usually, have to target someone with the GoFundMe. So, like, if you have a church community or something like that, a GoFundMe can be a nice place for them to help out a work community. But if you're just you, that's a tough proposition. I'm not going to be able to give you much special insight on that. Let's see. Bad Vibe says, no, Elvis went home. Ask K, MIB. Big Red Bear says, playing tabletop Warhammer doesn't take 2 to 3 hours unless you're playing it wrong. It should take 1.5 to 2 hours. And if you play 1,000 points, even less. Look, playing the game can take 1.5 to 2 hours or 1 to 1.5 hours. That's fine. There's a lot more than just the actual play. Like, you got to get there, got to set up, you got to chat and stuff. It's not that simple for me. Plus, the other problem is I just don't have people around me who play. Benjamin Galacto says, how many lawyers in your firm, if you don't mind me asking? It's just me, solo practitioner. And I'm trying to downsize that. Joshua Vidrine says, so hear me out, a 40K orc war boss VTuber. Do you know how annoying it would be, like, to do the orc voice all the time? Hey, stupid humies. All day. Asking me questions. Sending me gits. Oh man, that'd be rough. Amateur Ant says the stock market has been around since before the Romans. Us little peasants have figured out the pyramid scams these corrupt people are. Yeah. CJ says, yeah, we know you like the bullet. Heal me. DOG Beer says, what whiskey do you recommend if cost doesn't matter? Also, could you please show the Sean Schemmel rant? I don't. The Schemmel rant that I have is. Where is that? I think it's in my. I think it's in my Twitter DMs. The Schemmel rant, I don't know how long it is. Orc Kermit voice? Well, these are humans. I don't know how to do that. That's weird. That's weird. Ralph has another court date set in a week at a juvenile domestic abuse center. His case was not dismissed. Is that bad news for the Gunt? I don't know that it's particularly bad news. I mean, obviously you'd want your case dismissed outright, but just moving it to a different jurisdiction doesn't necessarily mean good or bad. So it's tough. It's 30 minutes. Oh, I'm not playing that right now. I got to go through it and actually pare it down and find the interesting stuff. Sorry, DOG, not tonight. Bad Vibe says, so let me break your brain a little bit. Small town, 1,000 population, no industry, just retirement town. Has a grocery store, but expensive. People drive 60 plus miles to save money on food. Dollar General wants in. Business owners say no. Dumb. I guess. I don't know if I'd want a Dollar General in town. Am I still doing redo of healer streams with Yellow Flash? I think so. I think I'm invited on Saturday. Saturday's going to be a real bad day for me. Oh, God. I've got like a Christian men's Bible conference on Saturday that my wife's grandfather invites me to every year. And if you don't know this, if your wife's grandfather invites you to something, you should go. I'm going to give you that marriage tip. He's invited me every year. I think I only missed 1 year, and I had an exam in law school. It's in the morning. It's at like 8 in the morning. That's Saturday. But I should be able to take a nap. If Yellow Flash will have me on, I'll be on Saturday night, though. That's a Angry Baneling. The past couple years, man, that has been a tough morning. Because I stream until 5, and that conference starts at 8:30. Woo! No different this year. It's going to be tough. Socialism is for Fig says, how would you feel about Trump trying to win a House seat in 2022 and then get Speaker, then impeach Biden and Kamala, then it goes through on Biden all the way? He would be VP. Epic 4D chess. That'd be pretty funny. I don't think Trump is super interested in holding public office anymore. Andrew Wild, yeah, no regrets. I'll be at the No Regrets conference at my local church. I actually think it's a pretty good conference. There's usually some interesting speakers, and they have some good... one thing about the recent trend in conservative evangelical Christian men is there's a big focus on being men in these churches. And that's something that can't be understated. It's a big focus on being a fucking man as opposed to being a beta bitch. That probably doesn't jive with the Christian theme of the show, but that's what it is. It's very much focused on it, and it's something I think is important, and it's at least being done in these conservative Christian churches. I actually like the No Regrets conference. I don't agree with everything that the guys say about religion, because I'm a jackass about religion, and faith and stuff like that. It's not that I think that they're not valuable. It's just I just tend to find little nitpicky disagreements, and that's something I have to curb in myself, because I do that all the time. I go, oh, I disagree with this thing, and then I discount what the other person is saying entirely. And that's a personal thing that I work through when I listen to people talk. But in general, so by the way, if you ever see me interviewing someone, you're like, why aren't you challenging this person on this thing? A lot of times it's because of that. It's because I have a tendency to listen to something, hear something that I can nitpick, and this is part of my argumentative nature, is to hear something I can nitpick and destroy, and then discounting the rest of what they're saying, and that's not profitable or healthy for me from an intellectual standpoint. So for me, it's better to push that immediate reaction aside and say, stop doing that and listen to what the person says. So if you ever see me on an interview and you're like, why aren't you challenging them on this? It's because I'm not really interested in fighting that fight. I'm more interested in learning what the person has to say in other aspects. So, Breck, yes, I have seen the Louis XIII cognac rare cask going for 22 grand a bottle. The swanky art show that I go to, that guy has 2 of them. One of these days, that guy is going to open one of those bottles and I'm going to be there for it. That's all I know. Okay? That's all I know. Robert Levito says, consider Tabletop Simulator. I'm sure they have Warhammer mods on Steam. They do. Then you can play with Az. I have Tabletop Simulator. I tried to play Kill Team with it once, but the person I was going to play it with, I don't think recognized that the Kill Team rules were different than the regular rules, and so we had a just damn bitch of a time trying to get that running, and it didn't work out. Tabletop Simulator does seem cool, but again, it's about having the time to do it. You know a bartender who stole a bottle of Louis XIII on his last day? Mr. Disaster, so that's why you do it, huh? No. Actually, that art event is one of my favorite things to go to every year. And I like buying art at it. It is 3 days. 3 days of excellent food and good company. I'm hoping to bring one of the other attendees on the show at some time. He's a great guy, my man D. I I think you guys would really like him. He's a cybersecurity expert. He's really interesting. And someday we're going to make it happen. I also want to bring the bartender that is at that art event on the show sometime to do some mixology. I was going to do it this year, but COVID kind of messed everything up. He's a really, I don't know if he's a good bartender, but he makes some fucking good drinks. He's good stuff. He's also pretty funny. Let's see. Bad Vibe says, words of wisdom. Be liberal with your time and money, but be conservative on who gets it. Yes. Intimidator0108 says, evening, Nick. Shared your video of AOC's little white lie, and a friend apparently said I lost some respect points with him when he realized I was laughing at her and not you when he said you had a few screws loose. Oh, well, shrug. Why? Why? She lied. She lied. She needs to chill out. I want AOC on. Yeah, I would love to have AOC on the show. Wouldn't that be fun? Do you have Ty there at the art sale event to write checks? No. No, Ty's never been. Ty's never been. Dustman says, enjoy your streams with Az. Too bad he's in the wrong time zone. I know it makes things a mess, but I need to do one with him soon. You need to talk to people who work for internet payment processors, validators. The shady stuff they use to learn everything about you is insane. I don't want to do that. Brex says, my uncle, a couple years before he died, was told not to drink. He opened all his best bottles for his family who visited. He was a backwoods distiller. Read Moonshiner. Yeah. Joseph Kerwin says he got his high-end girlfriend drunk on the Louis XIII. She always wanted cognac after that, and he had to explain it would never be that good again. Rector with facts and logic. AOC's terrible. Wouldn't it be funny to get AOC drunk on stream and have her saying like drunk college girl stuff? Eagle Lone says, is Ty into that type of art? I don't know. You guys have only seen one type of art that they have at the show, but they also have hyperrealism stuff and sculptures and it's fun, but it's really about the event. Orc Kermit equals Kermit voice plus Bobcat. Bobcat Goldthwait voice. Let's see. Krusty says, regarding the VTuber thing, could do a Warhammer 40k Space Marine VTuber. Would be great, not gonna lie. Brother, fetch me an apothecary. Bad Dragonite says, easier to find virtual thigh socks in your size. Also says, apparently Nintendo is redoing their whole online. Well, their online code sucks. Their net code is shit. Mark Benelli, happy morning to Italy, man. None says, oh God, what the fuck is hyperrealism? Is it worse than postmodern? No, it's realistic. It's like photorealism. I called it hyperrealism, but photorealism. DOG Beer says, best whiskey recommendation regardless of price. You know, a Boss Hog's a good bottle. A very good bottle. It's about $4.50. Kentucky Owl. This one, if you can find it, they're $300. They're really good. Scotch, that 25-year Dalwhinnie was fantastic. That was about $5.50 a bottle, but that was 2 years ago. The there's a Highland Park 30-year was fantastic, but it was a little overpriced in my opinion. That was about $7.50. I didn't buy that bottle. I had a shot of it. Or a drink, one glass of it, I should say. But that's about a $7.50 bottle. It might be more now. I don't know if that's worth it personally. Really, one of the best whiskey bottles I've ever had. Let me find it for you. I got this down in Tennessee. I don't know where else to get it. I got it when I was visiting Doug TeNapel. Where is it? Here it is. This is one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. I cannot find it in Minnesota, but oh my gosh, this was terrific. And it really wasn't that expensive. This is Wheeler's Raid Bourbon Whiskey, number 3. French oak finish, very limited. This bourbon was beyond good. Beyond good. I think it was about $90 for this bottle. I didn't keep the bottle. No, I brought it as a gift to Doug and his wife, to Lady Doug. I left it there. I hated leaving it there. It was so good. Jane Doe, if AOC comes on, I would super chat to ask AOC which AOC deepfake porn is her favorite after she is drunk. Yes. Yes. Probably the one where she's getting choked. You know she's into it. Clay says, what are characteristics you look for in whiskey aside from scotches? I don't like sour whiskeys that much, so I don't want it to be sour. I want it to be smooth enough to not make me cough, but smoothness is a little weird. Like this Kentucky Owl isn't smooth; it's very tingly everywhere. But when you swallow it, it doesn't make you cough. I look for the heavy oak flavor. I don't want too much corn. I don't want it to be as sweet as like Maker's Mark. I hope that helps. I'm not very good at talking about whiskey flavors. Godzilla or Kong? Godzilla every time. Wait, how do you know about that one? Someone linked it to my Twitter today. Someone put the AOC deepfake of her getting choked on my Twitter today. Do you think AOC has been donkey punched? I mean, for her sake, I hope so. Look, everybody deserves a little fun. It didn't actually get to any of the nude parts of the deepfake, but it was just the opening part where the guy starts choking her. Do you have any favorite cocktails? I mean, if I'm going to drink, not really. If I'm drinking a mixed drink, it's probably vodka and cranberry juice. Tito's vodka and cranberry. Very basic white girly. I do like Moscow Mules. Those are good, but if you want to see good tabletop Warhammer, a guy that likes the lore as much as you, watch Angry Joe. Wait, the Angry Joe show? That guy? Eagle Lone says, why number 3? It's the very limited French oak finish. That's why I bought it. But it's just the good version of it. Next call-in show win. Have an amusing anecdote I'd like to tell about seeing Monica Rial and Chris Sabat. I don't know. The call-in shows are a weird mixed bag. Let's see. Bad Vibe says, how many lawyers does it take to get a light bulb changed? This is a legit question. Has there been a case about a rental and a light bulb? I'm sure there has. I have no idea. But more lawyers than you would imagine. Bad Vibe says, and I agree in principle on not wanting Dollar General. However, in considering the savings and potential employment, there's more economic benefits for everyone, including the business. The town lost its lumber mill and shrank. Yeah. Little towns are always on the precipice of dying. Serial Foxy says, place your bets. Would AOC prefer futa with or without balls? Oh, she'd have to have balls on her futa. Breck, yeah, I'm aware of the Long Island iced tea. I'm aware of it. Let's see. AOC says, there I was on the lunar lander. I killed the engines, stepped out, and said, that's one small step for a woman and one giant leap for mankind. I was so scared for my life I was crying. Crusader Saracen says, I'm happy to say that on top of the book I'm writing, me and my best friend have finally decided to knuckle down and are throwing our hat into making video games. We'll take back the culture one battle at a time. Godspeed, Rackets. Godspeed to you. Noble cause. Noble ambition. Knight of Hope says, I did that one time and the fucker lost his job and didn't pay me. If anybody is out there thinking about leasing their house to help somebody out, be sure to understand you're proceeding at your own risk. Friends and family will sometimes disappoint you. Well, yeah, anytime you help out someone, you have to consign away what you're helping them out with. You can't expect to be paid back. Like you hope you are, but you can't expect to. Warlord Kamala Harris says, young man, you must understand the government wants you to vote, okay? They're going to tell you to say, the future's in your hands. We know the future, so we take your hands. No more hands, no more voting. Spread the word. The Revolutionary Democratic Front is coming. Mark Allen says, hey, Nick, I've been catching up on the archives, and I finally caught a live show. Hey, welcome. Thanks for having Sargon on. My pleasure. Please play this showing how he always thought GG2 was just a joke to shut up the gym cells. Just play a couple minutes. Maybe. Brandon Caballero says, would you rather get 1 mil to never jerk off again or $100 every time you jerk off? Oh, the $100 every time. I'd have that million in a day. What are you talking about? Okay, here we go. Oh, no. This is not what you advertised it as. No, I'm not really interested in stirring up shit between Sargon and the gym fans. I know you guys don't have audio. I was previewing it. I don't want to be. I really am not interested in that fight. I've always liked Sargon. I've always liked Jim, and I just don't care about the beef between them. It's not a big deal. Yeah, here, I'll put the link in chat. You guys can look it up. Here, it's to the timestamp. I just don't really want to play it on the show. So there you go. You guys can listen to it all you want. You already know the clip. It's Sargon talking Gamergate 2 on the Killstream with Medicare. And draw your own conclusions. Frankly, I don't care either way. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I like both those guys. Their beef between each other is their beef. I want Jim back on YouTube. That's what I would like. I like my Jim shows. Bad Vibe says, in regards to personal charity, it is a hand up, not a handout. And remember, you are giving away help. Expectations are a beach. Yeah, you really do. If you lend someone money, always expect that you're never getting it back. I want Jim back without literal cancer killing him. Yeah, me too. Me too. I would prefer Jim to live as long as possible. I really liked when he was on the show a couple times. Would love to have him on again, but I don't think he's doing anything like that. He probably sounds like that guy from South Park. Maybe I should talk like this. Let's see. Crusader Saracen says, Nick, I'm disappointed you didn't read that Warlord Kamala Harris speech in an offensive Central African accent. No. No. Intimidator0108 says, my friend said he spent an hour looking for a credible source to back your claims and came up empty. Says he'd follow credible info over that propaganda any day. Makes me wonder what he defines as credible. I'd rather lose respect than believe CNN. Here, I'll give it to you. DOJ kill squads. Let's see. What do we want for the here's Axios. Feds walk back DOJ memo saying Capitol rioters sought to capture and assassinate. Top federal prosecutor in Washington, D.C. said Friday that there's no direct evidence of kill and capture teams amongst Capitol rioters, walking back claims by federal prosecutors in Arizona, who said in court documents that rioters sought to capture and assassinate elected officials. Acting U.S. Attorney Michael Sherwin said Friday there may have been a disconnect between his office, which is leading the prosecution effort, and local offices on the evidence obtained so far in the cases, per Reuters. I mean, if he looked for an hour, Axios is not a right-wing source. Here you go. DOJ kill capture teams in Google. And you can get WUSA 9, AOL, Yahoo, MSN. These guys just grab it from a wire. WGRZ, Axios, Global Herald. I mean, it's only pages and pages. People.com, KTLA, Daily Motion has a video about it. Bloomberg Law. Oh, here's the, Bloomberg Law even says it in a dramatic account of the siege at Capitol U.S., but they have had no direct evidence of kill capture teams at the riot. DOJ disconnect from Washington Examiner. Like, it's only pages of results, though. Only pages of it. So, I mean, I'm not going to call out your friend too heavily, but your friend didn't look for shit. They don't want to find shit. But you can give them that credible source of going to fucking Google and just typing it in. Warlord Kamala Harris says, long sleeve or short sleeve? I'd take long sleeve, personally. Ugh. All right, guys. I think we should wrap this up. We're all caught up on chats. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for hanging out and interacting. We're going to move over to Twitch. Coming to America is 2 hours. And then the second movie is about just under an hour and a half. So I think it's a good thing to get things moving over there as soon as possible. Clay Early, for you, buddy, maybe for free. Did I do the Ray lawsuit? I didn't. Angry Baneling, I'll DM it to you. I'll let you know. All right. I didn't do the Ray lawsuit. I've got the case number. I'll probably do it a different time. RR Law Group demonetized. Are you hoping you'll be next? Who's RR Law Group? The second movie is remaining a secret on this YouTube stream. You'll have to come to the Twitch movie. You have to come to the Twitch to get the announcement on the second movie. But, all right, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out on these Hangout streams, participating with me in the chat. I really appreciate it. It's a ton of fun. It's nice to just come and have a chill out chat once in a while instead of like having a bunch of topics. I love that you guys seem to enjoy these shows. And This show will, of course, go up on the alternate channel. Make sure you subscribe to the alternate channel if you're not already. I think most of you guys probably are. No, I would pass on AOC. I would pass on AOC. So, let's see. All right, guys. I'm going to play the outro, and we'll see you over on Twitch in just a bit. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the deposed on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the deposed on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have.